Hey everybody, Dan here with Bowhunter Thrillers. Today we're going to be talking mock scrapes. Set one up on Sunday night over in my other tree stand spot, which is just on the other side of that pop-up line, about 120 yards away. I have a mock scrape kind of started right here. That drip bag I just moved over from another location. Deer have not really been hitting this. This has no scent in it whatsoever. It was just the mock scrape set up with just using sticks to kind of clear the area out. So I'm going to be adding some scent to it. I'm also going to be doing a repair job on that particular dripper bag because, as you may have noticed with that dripper bag, the tube is cut a little short. I had a problem with it. It got frozen. I could not get it cleared out, so I cut it short. It does still kind of work, but the problem with it is it drips way too fast. So went to the hardware store. They also sell some deer stuff there. So I picked up some active scrape from Wildlife Research. You do not need to use that brand. That is just a brand that I have been using for a few years. I know that it works for me in my area. Use whatever brand you feel comfortable with, obviously. If you find something that works, stick with it. Don't change because someone makes a suggestion to you, unless you think your stuff isn't working the way you need it to. But I also picked up a replacement tube and a zip tie. That way it'll help keep that new tube on and get everything set so I can get the dripper bag working properly. We're going to go through this process of getting it repaired, getting it filled, kind of freshening up the scrape area so it looks a little bit more used and hopefully draw some deer into the area. So let's get this started. First things first that we're going to do is we're going to take off the cap. I'm going to be trying to do this one-handed, so bear with me. It may take a minute or two. That wasn't too bad. I knew I planned on doing this, so I kind of loosened it before I went to the hardware store. Alright, let's make sure. Now that tube is exactly the same size. Not quite what I was hoping for, but I might... Ooh, I can get this old tube out, get the new tube in, and curve it the way I want. Yeah, that should work. That should work nicely. So the way these tubes come when you first buy them from the Wildlife Research Center, when you buy the kit, is they come with this nice little curve in them, just like this. That way it slows the usage. It uses heat to help heat up the tube, create pressure on the inside, and then push the stuff out slowly. That way it's not draining too fast. With that old curve that I had in there, with no major curve to it, it was dripping just way too fast. Alright. The only knife I really have is my gutting knife. I didn't think to bring a different knife with me. Probably not the smartest idea. But this should work fairly well. I'll just put a little pressure just to get a little slit started. And then I will break her off. Dripper bag tube repair 101, I guess. Alright, so that is fixed. I always like to shake it up. You don't necessarily have to, just what I do. We're going to head back over to the dripper bag. One-handed cap screw. Yeah, lost it. This is going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to have to put you guys down. Trying to get this stuff in your hands, it is really, really, really stinky. I always pour most, but not all, and add a little bit to the ground right away. Pressure going in there. Now I'm going to find a stick, just kind of freshen that up a little bit, get that scrape activated a little bit more by removing the dirt around. Let's see what we can find. You want something that's going to be good, sturdy, strong, not necessarily break on you as you're using it. Something like this should work pretty good. That kind of, think of it as you would like a deer. You're gonna be standing in front of it, kind of making a V shape. A little beating on that for like the licking batch action. Oops. This right here is just a little bit of doe pea scent that I added a few days ago. And that's all you really do. Now it may take a few days, it may take a week. They may not hit this location at all. It all depends on how the deer reacts to this particular area. Alright, so you saw all the mock scrapes. You saw how I set those up. Give them a shot. Try them out. See what works for you. Try different things. You know, you want to make sure you're setting them up. You want a branch that's about 4.5 feet. You know, right around head height, maybe a little taller. Make them reach just a hair. Not too much. Find the brand that works for you and go from there. Hopefully these tips help you out and help you tag a big one. Till then, have a good season.